Hi, I'm Rebecca. I wrote this video as a response to points that Critical makes in this rant as a structure, trying to mix that with a video essay about game politics. Really, Critical just said some dumb shit, and I'm going to talk about it in an overly complicated fashion. I'm going to cite shit and talk about half-related talking points, turning this basically into a single comment, into me going off about a bunch of unrelated shit. Don't treat this like a real, serious response. It's not. It's really just me talking about game politics while also saying Critical said dumb thing during a rant he made in like a few minutes. It's not that much. I'm just kind of going off. Enjoy the video. I want to preface this by saying that people usually get upset about things that tend to be minor in nature, considering how it either has little to no significance at the end of the day, or are simple things to fix up quickly. People on the right get all uppity about a mere woman main character, the option of being transgender or non-binary, when the game is trying to be more like modern-day society, which in my view is really petty. Whereas the left will just complain about mostly simple, fixable problems, random games, whichever one seems to be problematic the most. And even if those things cannot be fixed up, as someone with great notoriety on the left once said, remember that it's both possible and even necessary to simultaneously enjoy media while also being critical of its more problematic or pernicious aspects. If one can potentially put aside their biases and realize how simple or petty their complaints can be from time to time, you can still have fun with what can potentially be seen as a flawed product. Games are built for your enjoyment and to help entertain you. The biggest point in this video is this.
In fact, I'd argue to the internet, fun is secondary to the meaning and the political message behind the game.
Now I'm going to ignore the fact that this is assuming the majority of the internet's opinions because that's obvious and that problem is repeated throughout the entire video. I'm going to go deeper into this topic in a different section of this video, but I'm going to say first that people enjoy the story and messages of a game as well as the gameplay. In fact, you can check something like IGN or Kotaku and see that the majority of criticisms are gameplay based. Especially when you think about it, this has always been the point of video games, no matter what. While yes, there can be criticism of the story, it's because stories are being developed in video games. In fact, a lot of reviews don't talk about the story much in story-driven games for spoilers. And some people do enjoy the story more than the gameplay. That doesn't make them bad gamers automatically. It's an important part of gaming. We get it. The X credits video is bad. I know that it's bad. I agree that it's bad. I love overanalyzing games politically. In fact, I have a section later dedicated to it. And I fucking hated this video. You're clearly cherry-picking a bad example of what you're talking about. Not that many people like this video from both sides. In fact, you admitted it.
This video is an objectively large pile of dog shit. It is a horrible video no matter how you spin it.
So show better examples of what you're saying. If you're making a rant, you need to have at least one good example that people actually agree with. Especially when you're making broad, even clearly hyperbolic statements, like reviewers always focusing on political messages, the internet always focusing on those political messages, etc. You need to show evidence. To be honest, if you're making this broad of a statement, lots of evidence. We cannot rely on your claims and like 1 to 2 pieces of evidence of a bad video and the creator of that video. There are so many gameplay or fun, as you call it, focused games that are coming out lately. Just a few examples are A Hat in Time, Piku Niku, Baba Is You, Super Mario Odyssey, 8th Out, House Flipper, and Cuphead. All of these came out in the last few years and have basically no story. And when they do, it's absolutely ridiculous and silly. And guess what? All of these games are critically acclaimed by both the internet and critics. Nobody's asking it to be political or to have a deeper meaning. Everybody's talking about how fun it is. There are so many loved gameplay-based games coming out. It's insane. And when they do have political messages or heavy stories, they're usually merged with the gameplay really well, which is something I'll talk about more in a little bit. But here's the thing. I believe that cr1tikal, one of the games I mentioned, is anti-capitalist. This is never mentioned in the game. It's cute, it doesn't feel like that at all. But I totally think it is. Why? Let people analyze your games politically, even if it's not needed. Everything is subjective, especially analysis. If your theory on what any media means has evidence and is not disproved by anything in the universe, and even this is vague based on something I'll mention in a minute, it is therefore correct. Even if the author disproves it, your interpretation of an opinion is correct in your mind. I'm not going to go into why Death of the Author sucks here, as that would take way too long, especially since I'm kind of basic on this subject, but I'll link a few videos about it in the description. A big example of this is the film Anomalisa, which is so surreal and vague and dreamlike that its two main theories contradict each other immensely. You don't know what the true meaning is in any media, so if you don't want this non-political thing to be political, even if people think it is and should be, it doesn't have to be. Let people interpret things how they want. Now, this video mainly focuses on politics and gaming, but there's a little message that cr1tikal tries to sneak past you. Multiple times when he's talking about political meanings, he always mentions it by mentioning deeper meanings. In fact, later in the video, he explicitly says that you cannot both be fun and have a deep meaning. It just doesn't match.
There are games that I believe should have powerful messages, ones that are intended to, but for the most part, games are just supposed to be fun, and I'm not there to dive deep, feel something in the real world, a thought-provoking experience where I'm jerking off in front of a candle and really reflecting on the game's message and themes.
This is immediately disproven by a little game called Celeste. Celeste is a platformer made by Matt Makes Games about a girl named Madeline climbing Celeste Mountain, an incredibly tall and death trap-filled mountain. Its gameplay is amazing. It keeps building on its mechanics and slowly combines the ones introduced until you are going through gauntlets of obstacle after obstacle after obstacle by the end of the mountain. But you already know this, don't you? Celeste is an incredibly popular and praised game that multiple people call the best game of the year, and it's mainly talked about for these reasons. If you go on any review of it, you can see Celeste's gameplay praised for these exact reasons. But it also has a wonderful, meaningful story. It deals with themes of anxiety, depression, and trying to improve yourself. It's one of the only games that I have ever related to the point of tears. It's fucking amazing. And yes, it's still praised for this in reviews. In fact, a lot don't even talk about the story. You can make a game with both a wonderful gameplay and story, and it can be praised for both. Who knew? Political games, or games with deep meaning and lots of fun, are not inherently bad. Games that focus primarily on gameplay are not inherently bad. People who want more meaning in games are perfectly understandable people, and people who like fun in their games are perfectly understandable people. Let people enjoy games of all types, from the Haddon Times to the Celeste to the Beginner's Guide. Fun doesn't equal good. Good equals good. Thank you for watching.